Yeah, so listen, there's a lot of horrible shit in this bill, but one of the things they're doing is trying to cover up, how big an impact there's going to be on the deficit. This bill is going to add, somewhere in the neighborhood of $4 trillion to the deficit. That's a hard number to get your head wrapped around,
Right.
right? What does trillions of dollars mean? But that's like the entire gross domestic product of Canada for an entire year, and we're just going to put that on our credit card. That the economists say that's going to raise interest rates, that's going to slow consumer spending. It's going to just make life pretty hard for folks. What they're trying to do is to claim that they're not really spending any new money because they're pretending that the tax cuts they passed years ago, the first Trump tax cuts, aren't set to expire, and they are set to expire. And so when they reauthorize them, that's new money you have to borrow. They're saying, well, because technically the tax rates aren't changing, we're just continuing the old tax rates, it's not going to have any impact on the debt or deficit. But of course it is. And we know it is because this bill includes a huge increase in the debt limit, right? We have to actually pass legislation that allows the government to borrow more money. And in this bill is a provision which says Trump can borrow an additional $5 trillion to cover the new borrowing that's going to be necessary to pay for these giant tax cuts for the wealthy. So they're trying to sort of get a budget score that claims it doesn't add to the deficit, but it definitely adds to the deficit. And we know that because they actually had to put a provision in the bill to allow them to borrow even more money. If they pass this bill with an official budget score of zero, then they have some piece of paper to wave around and say, here, we didn't spend any money. But like you did, I mean, money. Like the actual impact of this is that we're going to borrow $4 trillion more in money. And it doesn't matter that you have a piece of paper that says we're not, because we are. So yeah, I get it's just something for them to make it easier for them to fool the American public.